So I'm going to talk about sleeves, and I do most of my revisions now fully non-cemented, and I think I've in the same way we learned in the hip that non-cemented fixation in revision surgery is superior to fully cemented stems. I'm finding the same experience now in the knee, and so I'm moving away from cones because I think cement is not the answer for long-term fixation in revision surgery. These are my disclosures. We do get some money from DePuy, but not for this product. So we're talking about, I'm going to focus on the tibia for this presentation and talk about epiphyseal tibial bone loss. And like in many of the cases you just saw, so there's lots of different ways to manage it, right? But you have to cut the bone to make it perpendicular to the long axis, and that will affect your joint line, right? We heard about the zonal concept. So I'm going to use my sleeve, and I'm going to ignore the epiphyseal bone, like literally ignore it. Because we know, like I said, you have to over-resect the proximal tibia, lowers your joint line, you have to use thicker liners, and it possibly has some functional consequences. So this is what I'm talking about, where I have a sleeve that is in the bone with porous coating in the bone. The tibial baseplate is modularly locked, taper locked to the sleeve. And I have stems, as I showed before, that are long, that are 14 millimeters or less, that I can pull out of that sleeve. So if these knees become infected, it's easy to remove the tibial baseplate. But you can see how powerful it is, where I can maintain my tibial joint line without having to over-resect the proximal tibia. So it's now 1 year follow-up. We have 18 patients that we've done this in. So this is not the end-all be-all discussion about this, but it's just to show you how powerful these sleeves are in tackling massive bone loss situations. So the concept that Thorsten suggested, that the sleeves are for small defects, in my opinion, is wrong. These sleeves can tackle anything. And now, as the sleeves have become better designed, now they're fully porous coated. Everything you're going to see here are partially coated sleeves. So we're getting more and more and better designs. So these are average age was 68, average BMI was 34.5. There were some revisions for aseptic loosening, 6 for second stage after infection. 2 had PS knees, 6 had varus valgus constraint, 8 were hinges, and 2 had thick tibial base plates. The average follow-up was 2 years. None of these got loose. All of these did well. A couple of them had end-of-stem pain. And interestingly, the tibial sleeve grew in. I was able to take the base plate out, take off the end of the stem, and just put it back in. And the end-of-stem pain went away. And there was 1 for femoral loosening. So this is just an example, again, of all the cases that we did. You can see the bone remodeling, and obviously the concern is, will these base plates break because they're unsupported? And we actually did some finite analysis, and we found the weakest place is going to be at the junction of the sleeve and the stem, and so breaking there, not the actual base plate. So 100% survivorship, where you can elevate your joint line, and what it does is it allows for a compression of the sleeve, right? Because it's above the bone, so when the patient walks on it, that sleeve is getting forced into the bone, seeing forces, seeing load, and I think that helps for better bony ingrowth. I admit it's retrospective, I admit it's small sample size, but I'm just trying to show the power of these sleeves. 100% survivorship right now, and all my revisions now will get sleeves, and almost all of them I do without cement. Thank you.